It was fun.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
It looks fine on there.
Yeah,
It's not just heads.
it looks like I'm
Something
going to
went
eat all
wrong.
day.
Please try again.
Oh,
Siri's going to help.
trying to help us.
Yeah.
He's he's
So very helpful. Yeah.
Not when I say, "Hey Siri," he just completely ignores
You then.
Hence,
That's okay.
that was funny. He has great timing.
So, hello, Miss Shirley. Hi, Pam.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's always good timing.
It
If
is.
the phone's not ringing, then
really short today.
we'll bet.
I feel like I have like the short chair.
How's this?
It's better. I have to sit on my foot.
That hurts. I can't do that anymore.
Oh,
Can you still do that?
okay.
I can't do that.
No.
That does not bode well for hips and knees and things. Mm-mm. So, hi, Judy.
Yeah.
Mary.
I thought that. So I thought it said Mary Poppins.
I can see where you would have glanced at that and might have seen
That
that.
would make me so happy.
Right? How cool would that be?
Oh,
Absolutely
Funny
fun.
what your brain goes to, like at a
It
glance.
autofill, right?
Yeah,
The
totally.
autofill.
The autofill.
Yes,
Yes.
autofill. Mhm. We have those as well as computers.
Yeah, it's Tuesday again,
Imagine that.
right? Did you have a nice weekend?
It was extremely short.
You were here late.
I was
Saturday?
here late Saturday and yeah. And then I worked Sunday too. So I just worked at home. But yeah, it was a really short weekend, but that's okay. I'm going to have a really long week coming up. So
Yes.
it's all good.
Yes, you are. You're
And
about
yeah,
to
we'll
leave
have
us.
to before you can leave,
I
tomorrow,
know. We have to have
we
things
gotta-
figured out.
have a convo about what we're going to do next week. While I think I'll be in Flagstaff, but I don't know where I'll be in Flagstaff, but we'll figure that out.
We will.
I'll go
It'll-
hide in the car or something so that nobody else can interfere.
You're gonna bring some sharp, pointy things just in case you need them.
I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow when we come up with whatever the heck we're going to talk about.
All right. So, anything new and exciting at the shop? It feels like today was busy and crazy, but nothing super.
New, not so much. We're still waiting on Candy Cane. I gotta get these
Candy
seed lane
cane.
things.
Yeah.
Candy Cane Lane. We're
Lane.
still waiting to hear on
Fabric
the
kits.
fabric kits. We still haven't heard anything about that. So we're still waiting on those. And what does Mary Poppins have to say? Kids used to tease me and call me that.
Oh, we don't mean it. In a
I don't
mean
mean
way.
it mean.
No.
We both think it's absolutely awesome. So
Yes.
if you would be our Mary Poppins, we would absolutely love that.
Mhm.
So
in the nicest possible way.
Yes,
Not in a mean way.
not at all.
Not at all. No, I didn't mean it. I hope I didn't offend you. If I
Please
did, I
no,
apologize.
it was not intended
No.
that way
Mm-mm.
at all. And supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. and
Absolutely.
all of those wonderful things that go along with that.
That's right.
It's the bestest movie.
It is one of the bestest movies.
It is really good. I just love that bag.
Mm.
I want to have a bag. It's kind of like Hermione's bag.
Yeah.
They're very, very similar where
Mhm.
you can just pull anything out of it and you just never know what's going to come out.
The only problem with having a bag like that is it's heavy.
But
Except
is
for
it?
maybe Hermione's. But I think
Hermione's can
it
magically,
felt like the Mary Poppins bag. It was big.
it was big. It was definitely and it clunked when she set it down.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
think
that
it was
might
supposed
hurt
to
your
be
back.
heavy. Yes. So, hi, Kathy.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So
Hi.
we got off track.
Hi.
Imagine Right? That never happens around here. So today we were going to talk about Fringe.
We were.
Mhm.
Thanks to, was that Kathy? No,
Maybe.
somebody asked a question last week and we were like, oh, we're going to talk about that next week. Thank you for the
Yeah.
idea. But now I can't remember who it was.
Right.
But I apologize that I can't remember yesterday, let alone last week. So thank you for whomever had that wonderful suggestion. So
Mhm.
we are going to talk about Fringe. Do you want to talk about your piece of Fringe first?
Yes. My little wimpy piece of Fringe.
It's not
So-
wimpy. It's wonderful.
So you can do Fringe. So if anybody doesn't have an embroidery machine, you can do Fringe on a regular sewing machine.
Yeah.
And there's two ways to do Fringe on a regular sewing machine. They make a really fantastic foot called the Fringing Foot.
Yep. How do you like that foot?
I like it for straight.
Okay.
I don't like it for circles because it doesn't do circles very well for me. And the reason is because the foot has like a tent
does.
in the center.
Mhm.
And that's designed so when I show you my little wimpy Fringe here, that's because our sewing machines, the Brother and the Baby Lock machines, have a maximum width of 7 millimeters.
Yep.
So the maximum length that I could make my fringe this way is 7 millimeters. But with that,
So when you start
fringe
curving,
foot, that's right. So curving that is no big deal when you're doing regular sewing. But when you're doing the fringe foot, what happens is it gets really big because of the little bar inside. So what it's doing is it's kind of pulling more thread out.
More thread in there.
Yeah. If anybody has ever done like bound buttonholes, like when you're wrapping the cord, same concept, right? We just need more space. So we have to do that. So that's what the fringe foot does. It gives you a lot more extra thread
in there, which is really it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And extra thread just makes for more fun fringe.
That's right. And
Absolutely.
so I just really quickly did a regular zigzag and then laid a teeny tiny zigzag over top just to hold the pieces together so that you could see how easy it is. And I had to cut my stitches. So
you know what I thought of when I saw that?
What's that?
You know that lovely lace software?
Mm-hmm.
There are stitches that look just exactly like that.
Yes.
Maybe slightly more uniform because they're embroidered.
Yes.
but just like that, really. And that you can just lay next to each other in whatever shape and whatnot that you're looking for in that. So you can add fringe to the edges of any lace or whatnot or it could be your t-shirts or your whatever.
Yeah.
And you could have those stitches fitting in whatever size frame that you edge of your t-shirt, the edge of your sleeve,
absolutely,
vests, whatever it happens to be. That's what I thought of. I'm like, I remember doing that. Somewhere around here, there's pieces of random fringe just laying around from when I did that class.
Yep.
But yeah, fringe is fun. I like fringe.
Fun. Yes. The other thing that you can do, if you have an embroidery machine, is it's really actually in the design center. It's really easy to create your own stitches. It's basically it's just 2 satin stitches. Yep. It is a wide satin stitch and then a tiny satin stitch to hold the stitches in. And someone always asked me in a fringe class, can't I just do a straight stitch? It doesn't hold the same. So you really want,
there's a gap in between.
Yes.
From where one needle hit to the next needle hit, there's a gap. And in that gap, there's something nothing holding out. Right. Yes. Something would fall out.
So tiny satin stitch, big satin stitches.
Oh wow.
And you can
Grandma
do that.
of 9, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, it's
so it's a lot of fun.
It is.
So you can hold up my wimpy one.
I will. You want just right here?
Yeah, I'll flip the camera over and just.
So she used a couple different colors of thread there so that you can see what's going on. So big stitch here and then a tiny zigzag over here that you can then release the stitch that would then hold up and make your fringe. Yeah. So that's where you get those loops from. This was originally and you can see the stitch line much clearer on the back than you could on the front. Doesn't that look pretty?
So I had black in the bobbin.
You could very clearly see where that stitch line was. So you basically just come along the back and cut. And that little tiny white zigzag is what then holds all of those loopies onto the fabric of whatever it is that you're doing. So that is why the straight stitch wouldn't work very well. A running stitch is because you can see in between each needle piece there'd be loops that would then just fall out. And you'd have kind of like scalloped lace, scallop fringe something. Yes. I don't know what that would be, but probably not quite the look you were going for.
Yeah.
So, but very fun. And you can do this in a lot of ways in, whether it's in the Dream or Luminaire or whatnot in the design center, Solaris, Destiny, IQ Designer, or even if it's in your software itself. You're literally looking for a super wide satin stitch, depending on how much fringe you want, is the width of that large zigzag, and then a tiny one to hold one side of it still in place.
And the only thing you kind of have to pay attention to, if you are playing in computer software, is that when satin stitches get over a certain point, the software will let you do it, but your machine might actually think it's a jump stitch. So depending on how it's written and the software that you actually are working in, when you are creating fringe, there is a fine line between taking a satin
working
stitch.
And not working.
Yes, yeah. and
how it's going to read it.
That's right. And a lot of machines, they vary greatly, and they can vary from like little machine to big machine on whether or not it reads it as a jump stitch or not. And the truth is, sometimes it's the lesser expensive machines are a little bit, I don't want to use the word not as smart, but they really aren't as smart. So a lot of times you can get them to
you can get away with things better
a little bit wider
in the midline versus those top of the line machines are programmed to not let you do things wrong, if you will.
Yes.
And so you can't fool them.
No, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you try to fool them and it goes wrong.
Yeah.
It goes very wrong.
You know, and I know that in a lot of the softwares, depending upon, and things have changed so much too. So something that you once could do in software doesn't mean you still can. So if you've done something years ago and you're like, oh yeah, I did da 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 da, they have updated things so many times over the years. You know, I can remember it used to come up with an error of, hey, you know, you've got a satin stitch that's bigger than we recommend. Would you like to change that to a fill, or did it? Yeah. It doesn't do that anymore. But there are limits that you can have set in things like that in there too. So, but a lot of that is just written into the code now that it, you know, if you go over this, it's something different. Boom.
Right.
And it fits in this category or it fits in this category, and you don't get to pick.
No.
It just depends on what you're using and what you're doing.
Yeah. So if you're creating your design and it doesn't go the way you think,
that might be why.
That might be the reason why. It could be just that machine part thinking that it's a jump stitch instead.
Bummer.
Yes. Sometimes. So have you ever had that happen, like with somebody else's design?
It not be what I was expecting it to do?
Yeah. So
occasionally.
Yeah, I have bought designs imagine that I bought a design on the internet, right? So they're not always
those
great.
Are always perfect, aren't they?
Yeah, sometimes they're not always great. And sometimes like when I buy it, I'm like, it kind of looks sketchy, but I really
but
want
it's only $1. So I'm gonna give it a go.
Right? So I'm gonna give it a go, and maybe if it goes bad, I can tweak it. But sometimes it doesn't.
Beyond tweakable.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder what were they using that allowed them to do that, or it just goes bad. And so I
definitely have had the ones that just go bad.
Yeah, you're
definitely
like,
have had those.
What happened? It looked their
picture came out fine.
Cute.
Why does that
it
not
had
look
to have
like?
Been photoshopped. They were obviously.
It was a picture of the screen,
the screen, right? They were better at Photoshop than they were at digitizing.
Oh, something to that effect, unfortunately.
So, that's the basic concept of fringe. Fringe is basically giant satin stitches, tacked down with little satin stitches, and then you trim away the bobbin thread in a variety of different ways. So,
So when we were talking about this, it was Wednesday, not Tuesday, because we were doing just a tiny little, and we forgot Peppermint Avenue, which I said Candy Cane Lane last Wednesday too, and I got that wrong too.
Yeah.
But
the look-alike.
Too many streets and too many candies, and I just can't keep them straight. But there was this tiny little ball of fluff on the top of the bird's hat. It was tiny. It was very, very small. And that was fringed. And so that's how we got on this conversation about fringe and the way that you could make it fringe.
Yeah.
And so as she just said, the most common thing is to stitch everything and then cut away the bobbin thread. But depending upon how it was digitized, sometimes you can also use a water-soluble bobbin and get it wet. Your bobbin thread disappears because it just melts away, just like the Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz.
Right?
It's melting, and it goes bye-bye. And then your pieces just come up magically, and boom, you're all good. So there are two ways to really do that. There are some things that you can do to make the cutting easier. The easiest thing is to put a completely different color bobbin thread in there. So you're like, where am I? Oh, there it is. There's the whole, that's the color I'm looking for. And here, that's what I want to cut.
Right. Because you're going to cut it away.
So it's not going to show.
Right. If it pops up a little bit to the top and it doesn't matter, you're going to trim it all the way.
It should be all going bye-bye. So that's what we're going to show you here today. I looked all over. If we have water-soluble bobbin in this store, know where it is.
We put it in that really
we have
safe
hidden
place.
It very, very well. I'm sure we have some here, something somewhere is going to fall apart down the line because we're going to use it and not know it's water soluble thread because it's not labeled is probably what it is. However, water soluble, you could run that bobbin, and the class that we did that on, we did an embroidery club that was all fringe. It was this huge project. I did put the design on the USB stick so we can show you that. And we did that with the water soluble, and basically we used that water pen and just flipped it to the back, took our pen and ran over all of the designs, everything disappeared, and then we just had to flick it up. And that was really great because that was a huge fringe project.
It was a really big project.
It was a huge fringe project. So, you know, when it's just a little tuft on the top of a hat, not worth going in there, changing the bobbin and so on and so forth. But when you have literally thousands of stitches, maybe it's worth your time not to have to cut all of that out.
Absolutely.
So, you know, look at what your project is. So we have an absolutely adorable design that we're going to show you the technique of fringe. We have had this design here in store. We stitched it many years ago. So how long have you been here?
4 years.
It'll be 4 years, basically at Christmas, right? So
this is probably 3 years ago.
So, yep, 3 years ago, because that was when it was like the first, it was before I got certified. We got us certified. It was right before that.
It was before she was certified.
Yes.
That hadn't rubbed off on her yet.
That is completely true. Unfortunately, I have gone a little crazier since meeting her and hanging out with her. It's all her fault.
Totally my fault.
It's completely her fault. So this is a Kimberbell dealer exclusive design that we're going to show you guys. And because we're going to show you, we didn't want to feel guilty that we were going to say, you know, so sorry, this one's so cute, you can't have it. We are going to put it up on the website. It has 2 different design options. So the main portion with the fringe is the same, but the words underneath are different. And then you can get either the 4x4 or a 5x7 hooping. So we put it on the site real quick. We'll probably pretty it up because it was really, really, really quick. But it is there if you would like to get this design so that you can play, or you just want to do this adorable design. So it will come on a USB because that is the only way that we are allowed to send you these designs. Unless you're in store, you can come in and get the design. But guess what? It's just still be on a USB. So we can either mail you a USB or you can come in and pick up a USB. That's how these designs are able to be delivered. So you can see a picture of them on the website, and Sarah is going to post the link to that so that you can see what those are. So this is that adorable lion's head with basically the mane is the fringe. And it says underneath, I am baby, hear me roar, or I love you, and that's no lion. Those are the 2 word options. And again, they come in both a 4x4 and a 5x7 for both designs. So she's just posted that link, and you can find that there. So I have the basics of the design. I can't quite see that there. It's really big. I can't quite fit that. There we go. That's kind of there. So I have the
show them the camera?
Sure. That might fit a little bit better.
There you go. You can see his head.
So we've got kind of his nose and mouth area, and then his head. So I stitched that prior to. The next stitch in the design is literally going to be the large satin stitches that will make the mane up itself. So before we do that, I have a standard bobbin in here. So I'm going to take that out because we're not using water soluble. Just so that you guys can see it very clearly, I'm actually going to put green. So this is micro thread, which is the correct weight. This is not something that I would generally use for my bobbin thread. However, I'm going to be removing it, so it doesn't really matter. And it will be extremely easy to see, and it will be extremely easy for you guys to see on the back of the hoop on camera. So that is in there. It's the correct weight. It's just not quite the right type of thread.
And this design is designed so that they could use the water soluble thread.
Absolutely.
Because it has a color stop in
between the large satin stitch and the tiny satin stitch. And that is the key to how you can do these. So if they are all in one color without a stop in between where those two are going to, it's very difficult to do the water soluble because you were literally sitting there, stop. Oh, nope, I missed it. Or, kind of thing. So, you really want a design that has two different, it doesn't have to be in two different colors, but you want something that actually has two different color stops for those two different stitches if you want to use a water soluble option. And just as a note, you only want the water soluble in the bobbin. Just throwing that out there. I mean, not that you guys would do that or anything. Just, yeah, you don't want it to all disappear. We just want the bobbin to disappear, and only in the big fringe part, not in the small fringe, not in the little tiny satin stitch.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a nice gold color coming in here that's going to be the lion's mane that's going to go all the way around. This is a long stitch.
So we'll hit stitch and then we'll flip over.
And then we'll flip over. You should be able to hear us because this isn't a super loud machine. I think you should be able to hear us. It is going to be this really, really big satin stitch. So you guys can see as it's coming around there what's going on. But that's going to do its thing for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to talk about for 12 minutes?
What should we talk about? Does anybody have any questions?
One thing that we will make sure is on that USB is, of course, the instructions. In that PDF instruction, there is a pattern, like a quarter pattern that you would
for the bib, right?
So that you can make a burp cloth. If you would like to put this on the end of a burp cloth for a little one, it is it's a really nice, it's like just corner. So you would trace it on a fold, and then open that up. So you have that piece that is included in that as part of that.
Yeah, that's a similar shape to the one.
It is. That's in the. What is that called? Little ones.
Little ones.
Something or
Something
other.
up there's
It's got the sweet pea in it.
Yeah.
It's that's actually one of my favorite. It's got the cuddle bug and the I don't remember all of the different pieces, but it's the little ones is what I think it's called.
Little ones, maybe that's it.
I think it's called little ones, but it's got all of the different really adorable saying. I don't remember a darn one of them. There's one that's got a snail. There's one that's got a thing of peas. There's
I wonder, do we have that one on the website?
I'm sure we do.
Let's see.
Because hey. So there's a little bit of green coming up in there, but like we said, that's going to go away, so no big deal. So even though if you guys, I don't know if you can see it from there, there's just a hair of green coming up around these edges. But that is okay because we are going to take that all off. So no big deal. So Sarah's fishing through the pages of the designs on our website there. But I don't believe was one of them that they discontinued.
I don't think so. I feel like I just seen it recently. There's so many designs. It's hard to keep track.
They really do have a ton. And it's just, there's too many cute ones to be... Maybe we haven't had it in stock, and that's why.
Maybe. Well, apparently it's not there. Let's hope it's not discontinued.
Yeah, no kidding, because it's super cute. It's super cute. You go to their site and see if it's there. It'd say. I'm pretty sure it's called Little Ones. If you want to just type in the search bar Little Ones, and we can nip that right in the bud. So, Fringe. Once you have all of your pieces stitched, so we've got that outside, we're going to have to basically go back and we will stitch the tack down as well. You have to remove that. So you're going to need to have a flat surface, which is way, it
was called Little Sprout.
It was Little something.
So close, yeah. I don't know. I can't.
Isn't there something about feeling a little sluggish or something like that? And burp now or forever hold your peas.
Yes.
Burp now or forever hold your peas. And it had what do we got going on there? Got some weird thread things, something happening. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing, but we're gonna fix you.
It is still available.
Thought it was still available, but
Yep.
we haven't had it here, I think, in just a little. And you know, we won't, if we don't have it on the wall, it doesn't go in
Doesn't
the
come,
website.
right?
Let's just back up just a
Freshly
piece.
squeezed sweet pea. I'm unforgettable. It's a frog.
Oh my God, seriously?
Mhm.
That's adorable. Like I said,
Mornings make
it's
me a little sluggish.
it's one of my favorites. I just absolutely adore the words and the whole shebang. So yeah, we're gonna have a little icky spot there, but hopefully the rest of the fringe will even it out. So we're hoping. So unfortunately, Shirley, the answer to that is no. I'm working on getting my bit in, and then we'll. Oh, that's right. There's two. I'm like, what are we doing here? There's two rings.
There's 2 rings.
I'm like, what's going on? It's been a long time since I've done this pattern. That's all right. You know, years. Anyway, I've got to get my bit in. I figured out what I'm going to do for scan and cut for October, so I'll get that in today, probably. If not, first, I'll have it in tomorrow before I leave. And then whatever else we've got going on, we've got the holiday workshop. I'm hoping to have those figured out. Probably we'll have the kits ready by November, so we'll have all of November for anybody to either get shipped or pick up the kits for the workshop. But with me being gone for a third of October, it's probably not likely that the kits will be all ready to go before. So if you're planning on doing that workshop, let's
That's the tiny
interesting.
stitch with those
That's
stops.
interesting.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. It had all those different things. I just thought that I told you it'd been a long time since I did this.
So this would not work for water soluble.
This would not work for water soluble,
But it does work the way we're doing it.
except that it's green.
Except for this.
So, yeah. Very interesting. So maybe on the next one we'll do one of the and we'll stop the. That's pretty green. So in case any of you have ever wondered if fine line or micro thread would work as bobbin thread, the answer is no. Just in case, if this doesn't prove that point to you.
Yeah, it's a little green down there. You can see that.
You can definitely see the green in there. It's a nice little reflection off of that.
Mhm.
So, that's what happens when you haven't stitched a design in a long time. You forget how it works. And there's 2 rings of fringe. And that is the tiny satin stitch there. Let me see if I can hold that one. So right along the inside here, that is the tiny satin stitch that's holding that outer ring in place. So there is no pause between there. So this one would not work for water soluble. And the one that we did that on specifically, I know, was the Celtic one, but we would be here for well more than an hour if we wanted to do. That was a long stitch out.
So,
So,
Kathy asked us a completely unrelated question. Do you use the button stitch or a tack down stitch, or is there another stitch for tack down on the luminaire? Sorry, off subject.
I use the button tack down stitch.
Yeah, which is the button.
It looks like a circle with a bar in the middle of it on your buttonhole menu.
Yes.
It's towards the bottom. So what do you think? Should I change that?
Flip it around. I'm just curious what it looks like at
Let's
the bottom.
see what it looks like, guys. What do you think? The actual answer to your question, Shirley, is no, but hopefully by the end of the week. That is super green.
Well, it won't be hard to find it.
We won't have any trouble finding that bobbin thread. Absolutely not. Well, this is just a store sample for you guys, and that was the whole point. So there's
yeah.
some,
I was gonna see if there was a black bobbin thread.
there's a black spool of bobbin thread over there, but I
That's
didn't
right.
see one wound. So we're just gonna keep
The
going.
point is to show
The
them
point
how
is
cut
to
it.
show you
Yes.
not what this ends up looking like.
Yeah.
So
just
gonna,
don't do this.
Just don't do a color like this. But if you use the black bobbin thread, it wouldn't show. It would be, it would do exactly what it's supposed to do.
Absolutely.
This is not bobbin thread, as I said. So that's why it's coming up.
That's the plans.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, we are working. We are actively working on the newsletter right now. I'm working on the binding videos to get them up because I would like to have that class up and live on the website before the newsletter actually goes out.
Okay.
So that way.
So my focus before I leave
Mhm.
is going to get that newsletter done, and her focus is on the binding, and that's what I got a lot this time. But I won't hit send until she's ready. So what the goal was that when we announce the dates and have the actual sign up, when you sign up for the binding class, you download everything. So that's why we're kind of holding off, is she wants it to be literally ready when you sign up, so that you have everything. And then the secret sauce can still happen.
Yeah.
Because you're doing an actual live thing as well.
I am going to do a live class
Yep.
For anybody who wants to join me on Zoom for the class. But anybody who doesn't want to wait or doesn't want to do it, the videos and everything, they'll be up and you will have basically an instant download when you get it. So that's my goal.
So this makes much more sense on why it's a 12-minute stitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the top seam is all still in this, or if it's it's the same color, but I wonder if it's
We're gonna find out.
we are definitely going to find out. I think it's on the inner rim,
Mm-hmm.
which means I think it's that one, and I think it's a different color stop, so we can change the bobbin for that one. You'll still see some green because it'll be underneath, but it'll be under the fringe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be perfect. That's what test sews are all about, right? So, what else do we have?
We have the Dime event coming up.
We do, and that's
Friday, October 15th at 3:00.
right there.
it's
Don't forget.
Rolling
Yep.
down.
And if you are on our email listing, you should have got an email so that you could click and register. I know that they will send out something right before the event. So if you don't get an email right away that says, hey, you registered, don't worry about it.
I will send the live link out.
We'll send the live link.
Just like we did with the OESD.
I say we, I won't be here. So
yeah, I will
be
send
her.
the live link out Friday morning.
And
so that if your registration has
for whatever reason you can't get it, or you can't find it, and I do plan to take my computer, so if you want to shoot me an email, I can stick it on the front page of the website or something like that, so that we can do that. So
Sandra asked, we are not using metallic thread.
Isn't it gorgeous? That is just a regular old Floriani thread, but it is really shiny, isn't it? That is why people like Floriani thread, is because of that shine. That is the that's their thing.
It is.
It's their thing. Yup. That green is just funny. It looks so strange. So yeah, that's going on, and
it looks fun. Patches.
Yeah. So patches, and
more patches.
There's the twill. So that's their new little bundles of stuff. They have the different color options, but I know they're going to talk about it because they sent us an email about it. So know for sure they're going to talk about all of that lovely stuff. So really great patch material. So real strong and secure, which
Yeah.
is always what we're looking for
And
when we're
definitely
actually
easy
to use. Yep. And then I don't know that we have much else coming up right away. We have, of course, the fill in the blank, but that won't be until the end of the month. So that last Wednesday, we will do the October fill in the blank.
I haven't picked my foot of the month yet.
You better get on top of
I
that.
know.
Any
Anybody
requests?
Ah.
All right. So at this point, that has finished. So we're going to go ahead and change threads, and I am going to change that bobbin because holy crow.
Do you have a darker color?
I do. It's right in front of me.
Thanks.
And I'm going to swap this out for the standard, and she's going to swap the top thread. So great having 4 hands doing things.
It's like we're super efficient.
I'm telling you. The scary thing is that it actually takes the 4 hands to do what 2 hands can do anywhere else, right?
Right. Oh, look, I have the camera on.
Hey, how about that? Look how cool that looks.
Oh, and I went plus a stitch.
Alrighty then. So we're now going to do that small satin stitch inside here, and it's going to go up and around the ears. So we've just changed to a little bit darker, and you can still see that right next to, let's see, right there. That's a really weird angle.
It is.
But right there. You should, like, that's not right. But it's going to just go, it's so strange. But it's going to go up and around those ears, and it's going to hang on to all of those edges there. So this one we have a standard bobbin in, so you should actually see the brown this time around instead of green. And it's going to do that nice tight guy and hold in all of our fringe on this.
Kathy said buttonhole foot, not buttonhole button.
So you don't need to switch your foot if you are just going to do that tack down. The machine's going to suggest that you put on your M foot. You do not need to do that. You can leave on your J. You could put on your N. You could have an open toe foot. Any of those is
just
fine.
Just a zigzag stitch.
It's just a zigzag stitch with no length. So it's just going to go zing, 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 and then tie itself off. That's literally all it's going to do. So if you choose that, unfortunately we can't switch to that because we're in the middle of an embroidery, or I tell you exactly what number it is. You're going to have to scroll down though. It's at the very bottom of the row. It's like the 3rd or 4th one to the last stitch on your buttonhole menu. And you just want, that is the tack down stitch that I use. If you don't want to use that one, you could make no length and do a zigzag. You could make it whatever width you want, and you'd have to then tie it off on your own because it won't do that automatically. Well, if you're actually putting a button on, then you can use that button foot, the letter M foot, and it would hold the button in place. Technically, your J foot will hold it in place if you don't need it raised up if it's a decorative button instead of an actual going through fabric button. But if you need to put fabric under it, you're going to need to have it lifted a little bit, in which case your M foot does that for you. So, oh, there you go.
Oh, buttonhole foot. Yeah, I could do the buttonhole foot. I could do the luminaire and then the non-luminaire.
The non-luminaire, and you could talk about the 4-step and yeah.
Sure. Buttonholes it is.
See?
There you go. Ask and you shall receive.
See how that works. And you get us completely confused and see how we go, what, huh?
So easy some days.
To get us confused? Well, absolutely. It looks like I eat a lot, doesn't it?
Because you got food on your
All
shirt.
you can see is
says
eat.
eat.
It says eat. It actually
I almost had that. I literally had that shirt in my hand this morning, but I was like, did I wear that last week or the week before?
I thought, is she gonna wear it? I'm gonna give it a go.
you want to try to get it closer, like zoom in, or are you trying to zoom out?
We're like, you can't see the rest of the design,
Oh.
just literally what's right at the needle. So
If you zoom
that's
out,
fine. There you go.
He's very cute.
I love this design. I don't have babies anymore, so
Our help isn't working.
all right, we're going to put that same color we had in there originally back in, and it's going to do the lower half of the bear's face. And, pardon?
Someone is in the shop. Can you cane help? I would like you to canine us. I love autocorrect. Oh.
All right, so now we're gonna again go down the bottom, and then it's just gonna do a little light stitch across the center there. So I would just like to point out that the color that you see here is our fault, not the design's fault. There he is. Okay. Screen what they look like 25 years later. Oh my God, has it been that long?
Apparently.
Wow.
Would you like that text?
Pain?
Like canine. Autocorrect is great. Oh my goodness. Are you going to do anything fun while you're gone? So we're talking about Mount Rushmore today.
We are going to Mount Rushmore, and we will probably get there at about 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday night, Friday morning. So we'll see it at night with the lights on it, and then we'll find our hotel and sleep for a few hours, and then we're going to go back in the daylight and see it and get out, do the water thing, and then
So you're going to hit that on your way down?
we're going to doing that on the way
Not
there.
with Sam?
Yep.
Do you guys have any plans with Sam?
Well, we're gonna stay in her place for a few days, so we don't have anything specific. We've talked about, going to miscellaneous sporting events because,
That's what she does.
that's what she does, and so she's taking a couple half days so that we'll be able to. We'll probably sleep while she's at work, anyways. But we're gonna do stuff. There's things I did with her that Jeff hasn't seen, and there's things Jeff's done with her when he's gone out
Yeah.
that I haven't done. So it'll be an interesting, what do we want to do?
Well, it'll be nice to do
So-
anyway.
But honestly, I would be fine with nothing. Just let's hang out, play, board games or whatever, and just chill. I'm okay with that. So, but I'm okay with going to do stuff too. So I think the black is the last. We're gonna give them a cute little face, and then we have the words down here. So that's a very large spool to put on that with that low. I think it'll be okay though.
We're rebels.
We're rebels.
We can do
You guys
it.
haven't figured that out yet, though, have
Right?
you?
How much worse can it get?
Well, I could knock the table off. The table off. I could knock the camera off the table.
Mhm.
I've only done that once so far, though it was quite the catastrophe when it happened.
Cam wants you to take some pictures and share them.
Okay.
Or text me and I'll share them for you.
Ha ha. Is Facebook up and running again?
It is. It was weird yesterday that it was down.
Yeah, I heard it was like they lost the code or something.
Yeah.
The master code was somehow lost or
Yeah,
something,
that-
and
the DNS error, so no one could
Whoops.
log in. Yeah,
whoops.
I mean, that's a big delete.
That's
Oops.
not a good one. Glad that's not where I work, and that was me.
Right.
Because that's not just a smack on the wrist, I imagine.
No. I know Dave's like, what if it's still down tomorrow? I'm like, well, just be on YouTube.
True statement.
He's really cute.
Yeah, even with a little bit of green, he's just been rolling in the grass.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally, every lion has grass.
Do you
in
think
their
all lions are that pristine?
No. I mean, my cat's not even that pristine. He doesn't roll around in the grass.
We won't talk about. I have literally renamed one of my dogs Pigpen. He just walks around with this air of, oh. I wash him. It's like, where do you go out and roll? It's like he waits for the other dogs to pee and then he rolls in it or something. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, he's really sweet. He's definitely inbred. He's not all there. I mean, he's a really sweet dog, but he's definitely not completely quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some issues. He has seizures. His tongue is always, it's too big for his mouth. He's got issues, but he's really, really sweet. But he's not very bright. And evidently he thinks he's supposed to roll in other dogs' urine. I just thank God he doesn't really like to sleep in my bed because I couldn't handle that. He jumps up there every now and then and says, "Hey, come pet me." And I'm like, "No, I'll pat you on the head. Now go away." But I have a soft spot for those that are special needs. So, he gets love.
Yeah.
Well, this light plugged in. Oh my God, he smells so bad. And I literally wash him. I'll shave him. Wash him, and I'm not exaggerating. 10 minutes later, he smells just as bad as he did before we gave him the bath. And you're like, how? Just he needs I just don't get it. How? I think we need the dark. What do you think?
Instead of black?
On the words.
Okay, do this one? Yeah. Instead of black? Okay. He's almost done.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Just a couple more minutes. And then we will show you how to take that fringe out. It's really not complicated. And we certainly don't have to do the whole thing on camera. We'll just do a little section so you guys can see. So I'm going to get rid of black and she is going to pop in that dark brown. So like we said, there's words at the base. And this one says, "I am baby, hear me roar." I mean, how cute is that? The other design says, "I love you." And then it has an ampersand. And that's no lion.
Oh,
Isn't that cute?
that is so cute.
So
Super cute.
both of them are very adorable. I do have this just on a water soluble on the back. So this is a washcloth. So that's what this happens to be. So I put a water soluble behind there so there wouldn't be anything left. There is a decent amount of stitches on this. So depending on what you're putting it on, if you're making it on a burp cloth or something, I would use a no-show mesh or something. Longevity wise, you would have a better result. But, just throw that out there. But, so does anybody have any questions or anything so far they want to throw up there? No, don't throw up. But put on there. Amazing the things we say and then realize that's not
what I meant.
Not really what I meant at all. So to prep for the actual fringing, I just have a seam ripper here. I do have one that has the little rubber nub on the end that helps flick because that actually really does help with fringe. That was just a happy coincidence. I didn't really plan it that way, but that is something when you go to pull those up, you need to get the loops pulled to the front. So that doesn't happen magically. You actually have to pull those threads up, and you can either do that with something like this. You can I like to use the non-sharp side of my seam ripper or turner. one of those things, but something that you can get underneath the loops and then kind of flick them up. So we'll show you how that means, but you would definitely need a tool of some sort to do so. And for the back, I find the seam ripper works. Trying to blend those words. That's waking up my word of the day. Seam ripper works way better than scissors. I don't like scissors to do fringe. It's just a pain in the rump to try to actually snip the bobbin threads. You end up snipping things you didn't mean to snip, and
that is possible.
Nobody wants to do that. So actually, we're approaching. It's 4:20, so we can finish stitching this in a minute. So let's switch cameras here so that you guys don't end up, and that way, if you do have questions, we will have time to answer them instead of running way over. So look at all that green.
Do you want me to
Just a little bit. You want to
zoom in a little?
You can probably see there. So what we're looking for is we have two different, all right, so we have two different rings here. This here is the one that we don't want to remove anything on. So we literally just want to lift up those green and then push underneath. And you're going to work all the way around your circle. And you can cut those off. You can leave them back there. Either one doesn't really matter. If you are doing a water soluble, of course, they would just melt away. So we want to get that upper ring off. All right. And then we're going to come to the outside here and the same thing. So you can see how there's literally maybe if I lift that up even more, you can see how there is literally the stabilizer there. That's how you know you got it all. It's really easy to ensure that you got everything because you know it's empty space there. There's no other stitches. So we just keep going. If you've got a couple stragglers, you can get your seam ripper in there and remove those. And you're going to go all the way around on both rings. On this particular one, you'll go all the way around and get rid of both of those. Once you have things ripped on the back and removed those bobbin stitches and cut through them, we're going to flip to the front. All right. And you're going to, again, I like to take the non-cutting side because I don't want to pull and cut anything. And I pull up until I get, and I've got all this green here. Doesn't matter because remember we said it was going to go away. So I can literally just pull out all of those green threads and pull them off to the side. So anywhere that I have green coming through, I can get rid of. So you can see once we released the bobbin thread, we have, most of the time you get an actual loop. Sometimes if you did cut, you might get a straight edge there instead of the actual loop there. Either one doesn't really make a difference. Occasionally you will get a piece that you cut and so it's way longer, like this one. Once you're all done, I just go through and I take my scissor and I trim those to the length of the rest of my loops. So I just would go along and make sure that I have all of my pieces pulled up. If you get to a spot that isn't coming forward, I know I skipped a spot in the middle there. You go, okay, well, I didn't get those bobbin threads. So I need to go back to the middle in the back and pull those up. So we've got multiple rings here. I don't remember which section I cut in the of this. There we go. So there's that middle ring. We've got two sections of fringe. And we've got an inner circle and the outer circle. And then that green there, it's very easy to tell because it's that different color. I can just pull right out of those loops. It's that easy to do fringe. When I'm getting finished with that one section, I can come over here and go on to another section and just keep going. When I have another section there, I come up to the front and I pull those to the front.
So cute.
We have a lion with a really fluffy mane, and once I pull that inner tube of bobbin stitches, we would have 2 rows. I had forgotten about that. That just makes it even cuter.
Mm-hmm.
So you would just take your time, go through and pull those once you have the back pieces. Literally, again, I like the seam ripper because it pulls pretty easily. I just use the side that's not going to cut, so I get those loops whenever I have the ability to do so. And you literally just keep going all the way around. Once you have on the back, you come back to the front and continue to pull everything to the front and fluff. That's how you fringe.
So cute.
Anybody have any questions?
It's quiet.
It is quiet. Not that we could actually hear them, but.
So that's fringe.
So you can also use your fingernail. And sometimes that, if you have one, sometimes we don't have fingernails, but that also can pull up those pieces out of the bottom so that you can get that little sections pulled forward.
Super cute. So that's it. That's all we got today.
That's what we got, guys.
Yep. So we will, we don't have any other lives this week. So we will see you guys all next week. We won't be together next week, but we'll be on here together.
Yep. And I will take whatever it is that I'm supposed to take and have that ready so that we can talk about whatever it is. We'll figure it out.
We sure will.
Maybe it'll be how you can use the buttons on your machine to make patches, because it'll be just before the patch party.
Yeah.
And how you can kind of use that in conjunction or something.
That sounds like fun. All right, guys. As always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining.
And the design is up. We'll put a description up, but I know a couple of you have already bought it. So it's there.
It's there. And again, it will be on a USB.
We'll get
so
the USB.
You'll have all 4 options.
Yep.
And the instructions, of course. And you can have some fun with it too.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for joining us today. Hope you have fun with Fringe as well. Take care. See you next time. Bye.